The Miami Heat are currently contradicting everything we currently know about modern day team building. They are going by no rules in the current book, and they are slowly becoming one of the more unique teams we have seen in the past decade in the NBA. They have gone a different route. Instead of going for multiple superstar level players to get them to a championship, they're currently going to the point where they put everybody on that team and everybody in the rotation around a certain type of scheme, and it has worked amazingly. Because they do have stars like Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, but outside of those two stars, they really only have very good role players after that. But all of those role players perfectly fit that grit and grind type of style that the Miami Heat love to play. And the reason this is such a unique thing in the NBA and such rarely seen, especially in modern day basketball, is because we have came to known as the super team type of era, where there's teams with 3 superstars at all times. Look at the Brooklyn Nets for a while, look at the Los Angeles Lakers, look at pretty much every other team that's competing for a championship outside of really the Boston Celtics. All of them have a huge superstar big 3 that help them get there, but this team is kind of going a different route. They're going a route to where they can have 2 very good players in Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, 2 kind of borderline getting to their superstar level status, and then you have the rest of them just elite role players that play their role so perfectly well that they make up for that lack of star talent that they're giving up by doing this type of strategy. Now, a lot of people, including me, didn't know if this was really a possible strategy in the super team era, but the Miami Heat are proving that it is more than possible, as they are currently up 2-1 on the Boston Celtics and are only 2 games away from making it to the NBA Finals. So for sure, this is one of the most unique things we've seen in the NBA in a very long time from a team building aspect. And to dive in it even a little bit more to show you how successful it has been, if you go to the first 2 series of their playoffs for the Miami Heat, they first played the Atlanta Hawks in the first round, who last year the Atlanta Hawks made the Eastern Conference Finals, so they're a very solid, very good team, but they were able to absolutely lock down Trae Young to a level we really haven't seen since his rookie season, as through the first 5 games in that playoff series, Trae Young only averaged 15 points per game, 6 turnovers per game, 6 assists per game, 5 rebounds per game, on 18% shooting from the 3 and 31% shooting from the field. That is by far the worst basketball we've ever seen Trae Young play, and it is widely due to the fact to how the Miami Heat play. They play in your face the entire time. They have people on the bench who can do it. They have starters that can do it. They have literally everyone on the court will get in your face the entire game. So that wears down someone like Trae Young, especially a team that has only 1 star level player, that only 1 player that can get his own bucket, which being Trae Young, and that is why he struggled so immensely in that series. Like, he looked awful in that series, and the Miami Heat system and how Eric Spoelstra's coaching and how the team is built is 100% credited to why Trae Young struggled so much in that series. And then even if you go to the next series against the Philadelphia 76ers, now although a little bit more context, Joel Embiid was dealing with a face injury, but still Joel Embiid did not even come close to looking like the normal Joel Embiid that we came to know during this season. As in the 4 games that Joel Embiid played during that series, he only averaged 20 points per game, 3 turnovers a game, 2 assists per game, 10 rebounds per game on 25% shooting from the 3 and 42% shooting from the field. Nowhere near his MVP level numbers, and his efficiencies were way down. So if you can kind of see a pattern starting to form, the superstar level players that are been playing like a superstar level the entire season, they start to struggle when they play the Miami Heat, and that is, like I said, 1,000,000% due to how the Miami Heat have built their team. There's no coincidence that an MVP level player like Joel Embiid, all of a sudden his efficiencies go way down, his point totals go down, his turnovers go up. There's no question why it is happening, and it is because of the Miami Heat are going to be in your face the entire time. Everyone on their roster is going to do it the entire game, and you're never going to get a break, and that can wear down a player over a series and over games as well. So for sure, with how this team is made, it makes stars absolutely struggle against how good this team is built, because the only way you can counteract this type of team is having a lot of players who can get their own bucket, but not a lot of teams and not a lot of players players can just go ahead and score every time you need them to, and that means you have to keep your star level players in the game longer, and when you have to keep your star level players in the game longer, they get tired faster, they get more wore down faster, and they get worse and worse as the game goes on. So it's really just a huge snowball effect. Unless you have multiple guys who can just go ahead and get their own bucket against anyone, this team is going to wear you down and they're going to beat you, especially in a playoff-like environment where you have to win 4 games and it's a 7-game series. That type of environment heavily favors a team like the Miami Heat, and it is just so insane how well and how smart this team was built for the past few years. But now that we got kind of the track record of what they have gotten accomplished this playoffs out of the way, I want to get into how this team is actually built and get to the kind of intricate things. Because in my opinion, this is by far the most well-built team and the most well-coached team left in the NBA playoffs. Now, this team is probably the best built-around team for their star-level players we have ever seen since probably the prime Golden State Warriors. Outside of that team, there's probably been almost no other teams built so perfectly around their star-level players. Because obviously their 2 stars are Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. But after those 2 players, like I said earlier, there's almost no star level talent around them. You can argue Kyle Lowry, but in my opinion, at this point in his career, he is just a very high level role player. But if you look at it, Jimmy and Bam perfectly fit that grit and grind style. Kyle Lowry, probably their 3rd best player, perfectly fits that grit and grind style. Like, all 3 of them love defense, all 3 of them love being in your face, all 3 of them aren't selfish. Like, they fit this system almost perfectly, and that's their 3 best players, which is the most important. But then they even went on to have people like Gabe Vincent, Victor Oladipo, PJ Tucker, Max Strus, and even more players. Even Tyler Hero fits this system perfectly, and that is a huge reason why Duncan Robinson has fallen out of the rotation, because he was the one guy who really didn't fit that grit and grind style, and they have went all in on that, and it has paid off immensely. So although you do have to bench Duncan Robinson, you get to play at the level you want to play and in the style that you want to play, and it has, like I said, paid off in great ways for the Miami Heat during this playoff run, and that is why Miami is so efficient and so good, even despite not having the big 3 superstars that we thought you needed for the longest time to win an NBA championship. And it has been very fun to watch of how good they have been. And then another great thing about how well this team is built, since they don't rely on their star talent unless Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo get injured, is someone like Kyle Lowry, who has been injured pretty much the entire playoffs at this point. If Kyle Lowry gets injured, it doesn't affect the team as much because they don't rely on star talent. They rely on numbers and how good everybody plays. And since Gabe Vincent plays so much like Kyle Lowry because they got so many players that play the same way, it doesn't affect the Miami Heat that much because, like I said, they don't rely on star talent. But if someone like say Kyrie Irving gets injured in the playoffs, that is going to destroy Brooklyn. If someone like LeBron or Anthony Davis gets injured, that's going to destroy the Lakers. And that's just what happens with these super team level teams. Like, if Steph Curry gets injured, the Golden State Warriors are done. If Klay Thompson gets injured, the Golden State Warriors are most likely done as far as the playoffs are concerned. So I think for sure that a lot of teams struggle because if any of their stars get injured, that is done with their team. But the Miami Heat kind of have an injury-proof team as long as one of their 2 best players don't get injured. So I think for sure the Miami Heat have probably one of the best well-built teams in NBA history, and they have done it in such a unique way, in such an interesting way. I think the Miami Heat are just by far my favorite team in the NBA right now that's left in the playoffs, only due to I like how they are trying to win, and I like that it is actually working, and they're kind of going their own route, and I think Eric Spoelstra deserves way more credit than he's getting. Same with Pat Riley in the front office. I just think for sure both of those guys have been putting on a show when it comes to team building. But unfortunately, guys, that's going to be for this video. So comment below, do you agree with me? Do you think the Miami Heat have one of the best well-built teams in the entire league? I want your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win the finals? Comment that below as well. And I hope you liked the video at any point. Hit the like button if you did enjoy it at any point. And also hit the subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me. And I hope you have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. So you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.